One of the more hidden upgrades on a GT4 RS compared to a GT4 is the use of monoballs in the suspension system. In this video, we're going to be discussing the performance benefits of fitting monoballs as well as showing you how to install them on a GT4. We have been very busy with our GT4 recently, having just fitted extremely wide tyres to the front and rear of the car. We've now had a massive jump in grip and performance from the car. So the next step now is to extract even more stability and even more precision by the use of monoballs. So today we're going to be installing monoballs to the GT4 and showing you exactly why we're doing that. Before we get started, let's take a look at the standard suspension arm from the front of our GT4 here. So this is the front lower control arm that connects to the subframe, the tension arm and the hub itself, and it goes completely across the bottom of the suspension assembly. As standard, we have one rubber bush here at the front, which the tension arm connects to, and we have a rubber bush here where the subframe connects to as well. The issue with the rubber bushes is as we're going around circuit, and especially as we start to increase grip levels, this allows flex and geometry changes to occur, which can lead to an increase in instability and also a decrease in grip levels. The reason for this is as we go around the corner, we have the force input into the tyre as we load the car up. That then moves the wheel, which pushes into the hub, which then pushes directly into the suspension arm. But before the suspension arm can move the actual car itself via the subframe and the chassis, both of these bushes have a little bit of flex in them. So this leads to effectively a delay in the chassis response as we're turning into the corner. Not only does it lead to a small delay as we're turning into the corner and we're changing direction, it also alters our geometry. So if you imagine this control arm here, if we were to move it outboard, it would increase our negative camber, which would also tow the car in. So it would alter our camber and our tow settings if we were to move this arm by placing shims in here as you can do as standard. However, when you're out on track and this is physically moving around due to the rubber bushes, it's actively altering your geometry whilst you're going around the circuit. So this alteration in camber and tow settings leads to the instability in the chassis because the settings that you set back at the workshop aren't remaining on the car as it goes through the corners. So this is one of the major reasons why the GT3 RSs and the GT4 RSs are completely monoballed out the factory, because solid bush in the arm prevents this from happening and gives a lot more stability out on circuit. The reason behind this is effectively what we're going to do is eradicate this rubber bush and this rubber bush with solid bushes. So now with those fitted, as we effectively apply load through the tyre, it applies the load to the arm and it's immediately passed straight into the chassis. But not only is it immediately passed in, it's not allowed to move around. So there's also no geometry flex and alteration. So the actual stability of the car is much more pronounced because you don't have those differences in alteration. So the other issue is we've increased grip level on this car substantially in various stages. When we initially just increased camber front and rear, we increased grip level. Then when we fitted our full kinematics kit, we increased grip level. Then when we fitted the wider tyres much more recently, we massively increased grip level again. All of these grip level changes increase the force going directly through this arm. That increase in force increases deflection, which makes those issues even more pronounced as we get more aggressive and more track focused. So it's a really important upgrade at this stage to get the solid bushes into these arms to prevent that movement and increase stability out on circuit. When it comes to installing solid bushes and pucks and monoballs, there are obviously some downsides that come with that as well. The main one is NVH increase, which stands for noise, vibration and harshness. And this is effectively the vibration and the noise coming from the wheels and the ground into the chassis, because when we have rubber there instead, that's dampened down and it's softened off, and the rubber absorbs a lot of that vibration and stops it coming into the car and the driver actually being affected by it. But when we take the rubber out of the system, that is going to get transferred into the chassis. That's why the GT4 RS and the GT3 RS is known for having a firmer and a harsher ride out on the roads. It's due to them already being fully monoballed and solid bushed from the factory. That goes to say though that it's not so much that it's unbearable and undrivable, because otherwise Porsche wouldn't do that as standard for ultimately a road car, even if it is a bit more track focused. So it's still fine to drive on the road, but it's just worth noting that there will be that very slight increase in vibration and that little increase in road noise as well. This is the reason why we've gone for the top mounts and the tow arms and the kinematics kit ahead of doing this, because they offer very little increase in terms of NVH increase. So we drive this to and from track as well. It's not just a track car. This is also still fully a road car that we use quite regularly out on the roads as well. But we have now got to the stage where we want to go more track focused, so we have to get rid of the rubber in the system. We have to solid bush it and monoball the suspension system to extract the maximum performance and get more stability out of the chassis. Particularly now we've got the grip level to such a massive amount. I mean, we put 1.785 G around Donington last week, which was a huge increase in G-force through the chassis. So we really do need now to get that stability back. So we can't wait any longer. It's time to get these installed. So we're going to get the arm stripped off the car now, and we're going to get the monoballs and the solid pucks fitted into the arms, and we're going to show you how to do that as well. The installation of these solid bushes and monoballs is quite straightforward on the coffin arms of the GT4. So the procedure is the same for the front and the rear. So at the front, we're going to be replacing the front rubber bushes for our solid pucks here, and at the inside, we're going to be replacing the inner rubber bush with our monoball. To replace these, you simply press out the puck as a whole unit on a press, and then you can press in our two halves of that solid bush into the arm, fully flush, and then they are installed. It's as simple as that. On the inside, the bush is in two halves as standard, so the lip needs peeling away, which can be done with a hand chisel, or it can be done very finely with a screwdriver, and then you can effectively press out the shells out of the arm, revealing a nice clean tube. You then simply press our monoball in from one side, and then circlip it into position on the opposing side there. When they're in like that, they are ready to install and onto the car. So really straightforward installation. You do require a press to fit both of these products, but other than that, it is a very, very straightforward procedure. So we're gonna get these back into the car now, all fitted, and then we're gonna have to realign the car, because when you change suspension components or have arms unbolted and back in again, even though they're still about the center line, you do still need to realign the car. Another thing you might be thinking is that our bushes aren't going to increase or decrease caster. They are concentric like the OEM bush, so that it's just got a central through bolt. The reason for this is because we introduced the caster using the top mounts. Our top mounts have additional caster machined into them, and you don't want to add too much caster in the chassis. We've already got quite a lot on the GT4. So for this package, we're just going to be installing a concentric front bush, keeping the wheel really nice and central in the wheel arch, and gaining from all the caster using the top mount instead. So time to get these fitted up, then we'll get it aligned. With the monoballs all fitted now, it's time to give the car a full alignment and head back to track for testing. But before we do, we actually have a problem to fix first. So a few track days ago, we lost first, third and fifth gear. And when we came back to the workshop after that, we thought we had gearbox issues, but it wasn't. It was just a selector cable that had come out of its holder on the side of the gearbox. Turned out it was a really common issue. There's a Porsche bulletin released about it, and the Porsche sort of temporary fix is to put a zip tie around it, because there's not actually a good clip on it. It's a really weird design, but that's their official sort of advice of how to fix the issue. When we were at Donington last testing the new tyre sizes, that popped out twice. So twice out on track, Chris Diamond lost those gears. So we kept jacking it up and putting it back in. So the second time we ran the zip tie around, even though it was extremely hot in there, got the zip tie around it and it held together. We've got it back in the workshop whilst we've been doing this work, and the zip tie is still there, but the cable is again trying to come out of its seat. In fact, it was nearly back out of its seat. We've taken a picture of how we came to it. So whilst it's on the ramp, we can't keep having this issue. We're losing a load of time to it, and it's just frustrating when you're on a good lap and you lose gears. It's just not good at all. So we're going to be basically getting the bracket off now, and we're just going to see if we can do a much more permanent fix, just so we don't have to worry about it at all going forwards. So this is the bracket. We just removed it from the car. It's extremely fiddly to get up to the retaining bolt, but it's now out of the car. We're looking at it. I think the simplest solution is going to be if we drill a hole just under the U here, right at the base. We're then going to feed a zip tie through that hole, put it back into the car with the zip tie through the hole, and then insert the cable, and then we can loop that around and zip tie it effectively in the car. But with the zip tie this time, because it's going through the hole, it can't slip off, whereas last time it was just around the bracket, which was what the Porsche bulletin sort of said to do, but it was just trying to slip off around this curve here. So when it's gone through the hole, it's retained, it can't go anywhere, so we shouldn't have that problem any longer. The monoballs are now completely installed, and we've just finished our full geometry alignment, getting this thing ready, set up for track. If you're installing parts, you need to do a geometry alignment. So it's now carried back out, it's set up to how it was before, because we're really happy with the settings at the last track day. We've also fixed that gearbox issue, hopefully permanently now. I can't see it coming back out again with the fix that we've carried out there. It was extremely fiddly, but well worth it in the long run. Better than doing that at track, that's for sure. So we're heading straight back out on track tomorrow to put these upgrades through the test. So if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do, because that's going to be our next video, and we'll see you there.